let's get to it, man. There's a bit to talk. There's quite a bit to talk about. It's quite a bit to talk about,
man. We're gonna start off though with Bruno. We can start with Amorim or Bruno. Which one do you want to start with?
Let's talk about. We'll talk about Bruno. I don't mind talking
about Bruno because I see you always tweet about him, saying he plays shit and and all this stuff. And I mean, some of the things you say, you're not wrong. But I just think you are definitely part of Baller FC when it comes to the tech merchants. Yeah, and you forget sometimes that output is important. And for a player like Bruno, I feel like, I don't know. I haven't seen tweets recently. I don't know what you thought of his performance on Thursday. What do you think of him against Sociedad with a hat-trick?
My honest, objective analysis of Bruno's performance against Sociedad is typical Bruno. Like, at the beginning of the first half, I don't think he was playing well. Like, his passing was a bit sloppy. He was getting dispossessed. In possession, Sociedad was countering us a little bit. But the 2 penalties we got, with Bruno Fernandes, when it comes to taking pens and making runs in the final third and finishing, that's his bread and butter. Like, do you get what I'm saying? My issue with Bruno Fernandes is when we're trying to build up as a team and trying to create chances, because if he's going to be at the vocal point of everything and everything's going to go through him, making sloppy mistakes and us getting countered, people don't really talk about it. So obviously, the scoreline, we won 4-1. Bruno gets the hat-trick. It looks like he had a stellar performance, but I like to dissect the game a little bit more and look at everything, not just the moments. So the goal that he scored, the last one, it was a good finish. Obviously, he was running. He broke his neck to get the goal. The 2 pens, you can arguably say that they, it was a bit soft because Dorgu kind of fell onto him. He did try and go like this. So, yeah, like for me, I'm just at a place here where that his performance was just not that impressive. Like he just took his chances. Like similar to Haaland. He doesn't really have that many touches. He doesn't really get involved that much. But when he does get his chance, he bags. But the thing is, he's allowed to stat pad because the team is good already. Obviously, barring this season, but I'm talking in general. With Man City, they're a lot more stable. When with Man United, because we're not stable as a team, and we've got Bruno as well, who is not a stable player, and he'll do things where other teams will actually cook us. Do you get what I'm saying? If we were like Liverpool, Mo Salah doesn't have to have great performances, for instance. He can score as many goals as he can without playing well. But because Liverpool have so much control in the midfield, they play well, the manager's doing their thing as well, you can let that slide. You don't really have to. Liverpool fans won't be complaining about Salah's output. But I'm complaining about Bruno because we're not stable as a team. Like, do you get what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense.
Sauce on my face. Yeah. So your problem isn't even Bruno then, it's the team.
Not necessarily, because even when we had a better team under Oli, when Pogba was playing in the middle, when we had Fred there, no matter how good of a player that you play next to Bruno Fernandes, if he's at the center of it, there's only one way you can play. This is why when I said when Oli came in, he built the team around him essentially. With Ten Hag, he made him the captain. With Amorim, he talks about how important he is. What do all 3 outcomes have in common? We can only play one way. So my thing is that we need to move away from counter-attack. I thought when we got this manager, I didn't know much about him. But I thought we was just like, you know what? We're going to play possession. We're going to start controlling games. And we're going to start creating chances. And there's no favoritism. Do you get what I'm saying? So I've seen him in the Euros as well for Portugal when there's better players. He's no different to Man United. Like, he's no different. He does the same, trying to do the over-the-top through ball, gets dispossessed. Like, he's just too... let's put it like this. He's got more holes in his game than good. I think the only things that are good about him is, like I said, penalties and making runs in the box.
So you don't think his passing's good?
I think his passing...
Creating's good. Because I remember he created a chance against Real Sociedad. He put Doku straight through with the first time pass.
For me, his passing
is a penalty.
Yeah, but the thing is, when it comes to his passing, it's too inconsistent. Like, his execution isn't always the best. He'll say, let's say it like this: out of the 5 passes that Bruno makes, 2 of them will work.
Yeah, but if two of them work and they lead to a goal, you win the game. If you score 2 goals, on average, you're going to win a game.
But you can also say the 3 passes that didn't work. What if Sociedad countered us, and then they created a chance and scored a goal?
That's for the defenders and the other midfielders to make sure they don't score, and the goalkeeper. That's for the other team. That isn't his job. His job, I understand, as a midfielder, you want a midfielder that can retain the ball. Yeah, but you don't want a midfielder like Bruno, who's a goal scorer and an attacking midfielder, who's too protective of the ball. Because you look at Sociedad, they had all the tech in the world. Look how they were keeping the ball, but they had no one to put the ball in the back of the net. They scored 2 penalties. Do you know what I'm saying? I think they had, I want to say in the first game, they only had 2 shots on target. One was the penalty, and one was like 40 yards out or something from Fernandes. Yeah. So they had no output. They had no outlet. They had no one there to put the ball in the back of it. They had no one there to actually put a ball in the box. Yeah. Whereas Bruno, that's what he does. Do you know what I'm saying? You can have all the ball retention in the world, but if you don't have a player that can do that, if you don't have players that can score goals and things like that, I think you're not going to do well. Look at Sociedad this season; they just got pumped 4-1 by us. When was the last time we scored 4 goals against a half decent team?
Yeah, but Sociedad, we beat them 4-0 even under Oli as well. Like I remember us beating when we had like Dan
Bruno
James.
Scored twice.
Yeah, I think he scored 1 or so. So beating Sociedad isn't like the thing is with them. Is that they were toothless. They had no quality. We beat Sociedad not because of like we completely outcoached them. Yeah, we just had better players. Like, if you look at the players that we had in that team, you've got Casemiro, who was outstanding in both legs. Defensively was solid. Heaven, solid. Yoro. Did Yoro play last game? Did he play?
He played the first leg.
He didn't play the second leg, right? Okay. So, and you've got Mazraoui quality. Xerxes in that second leg was absolutely outstanding. Yeah. So the players that we had, we just had more about us in terms of the players. That's how I see it.
Yeah, but then you could say that about everyone. Like, does Pep win games with his team, or does he outcoach players? I don't think he outcoaches his team. I think he sets his team up and his team wins. He bought the players. I know Amorim hasn't bought these players, but he set the team up. He's the one who played Casemiro when he could have played Ugarte. He could have played Collier. Do you know what I'm saying? He's the one that put Bruno in the thing. He's put Garnacho on the right, which is, Garnacho isn't good, but that's still up to Garnacho's game because he's on the right. He's not shooting as much. But he's the one who's playing Xerxes. You know what I mean? Højlund, I don't think he should play, but he plays him. He can't play Cheeto, can he? Because Cheeto's, I don't know, he can't even play in Europe or something. Yeah, he's the one who's given Heaven a chance instead of playing Lindelof. So these types of things, I just think like the manager gets credit for it. You can say that, we have better players than them. That is true. But I mean, by the logic of what you're saying is if you're going off technical ability, they've probably got better players that keep the ball better. They're probably better coached in terms of keeping the ball, in terms of possession. But they have, as you say, they've got no firepower. Like the penalties were not soft. Yeah, we won the penalties by putting them under pressure. Their penalty was very lucky. De Ligt is about to win the ball, and the geezer puts his leg in front of De Ligt, and De Ligt just takes him out. Yeah, our penalties. Well, maybe you could say the Dorgu one was a bit lucky. I mean, Dorgu does try and stick his leg out and catch him, but the first one, Casemiro pings the ball over the top. Bruno puts it across, and he takes Højlund out. Do you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you can say we have better players than them. We do, but that's because of players like Bruno. We probably wouldn't win that game if it weren't for Bruno. Do you know what I'm saying?
I still believe that without Bruno in this team, because think about it, he gave away the penalty in the first leg as well.
Yeah, but that was unlucky, man. That was such an unlucky penalty.
When you say about Bruno, do you mean like as in a replacement of Bruno, or do you mean Bruno out this squad at the moment?
What do you mean? Say like, to me or?
Yeah.
Go on.
Bruno. You said
without
Bruno.
When you said without Bruno, I just wanted to mean. Do you mean as in if we sell Bruno, we replace him, or do you mean Bruno as get rid of Bruno out of the squad right now and put him on the bench, or do you mean?
I'm talking about like in the future, yeah.
Future. That's fine.
I'm talking about in the future that we should be planning life without Bruno, because when I look at Bruno, I think it's become Bruno FC rather than Man United, and because he's been given all the keys and he's been given everything, he's been given the freedom. He's obviously
that's not his fault. That's not his fault. I'll say one thing about the problem with Bruno is he plays with too much emotion. Yeah, against Sociedad away, I'll give you an example. Sociedad away last week, we were 1-0 up. He gives away a penalty, which was unlucky in my opinion, and then he was playing good that game. And then he gave away the penalty, and he starts thumping the ball forward every time he gets it. He started forcing things for himself to rectify. Oh shit! I've given away a penalty. I think that is also what Pogba used to do. I remember when Pogba used to start when he would make a mistake or he's not playing well, or whatever, or the game was drawing or whatever, he'd try and do everything by himself because he didn't trust his teammates for one, which I think Bruno doesn't trust his teammates. Do you know what I'm saying? And I also think he wants to just be the main guy. Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like that's not all him though. If we had a competent team around him, we had a coach and I think these flaws would show a bit less. I think, he's never going to be a good dribbler of the ball. He's just not got the touch. He's not got the control to be a good carrier of the ball. Yeah. But at the end of the day, like, he scored a hat-trick. That is a good performance no matter what. You score a hat-trick, you win the team the game 9 times out of 10. If you score a hat-trick, you should win the game. If you get 3 goal contributions in a game, and one of them, by the way, the penalty that we won, the first one, he won that basically by putting the ball into the box. You know what I'm saying? He could have just shot on a volley. And that's what usually you'd see Bruno do. He just taps it across the box. And I don't think, I feel like people overdo it. I feel like he does have good games, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? He does have good games. I mean, I can think of many. I can think of the Liverpool game at Anfield. He was unreal in the second half. Do you know what I'm saying? He didn't look nice. I remember when he sent 4 of their players in the midfield. They're all pressing him, and he sends 4 of them with a drop of the shoulder. Bruno don't look nice when he does it. He looks mad, clumsy. But at the end of the day, it's Bruno. Like, I personally would prefer him to someone like Odegaard.
Oh, yeah.
Bruno Fernandes, yeah. The thing is with Bruno, 90% of his time at Man United, yeah, has been getting praised because of his output. But when you said scoring a hat-trick means, if you get a hat-trick, it doesn't mean you've had a great performance. Performance is a lot more than just getting...
You win your team the game. If you
but the thing is, the thing is, when you say, oh, you win a game, but first of all, if he single-handedly wins us the Europa League and Champions League and Premier League, then that's where the argument can be. You know what? Fair enough. But we're talking about a constant pattern with Bruno that ever since we bought him, you said that, if we had better players. We had Pogba next to him. We had Martial next to him when he wasn't getting that many injuries. And bearing in mind...
We also had McTominay and Fred behind him.
No, but the thing is...
Yeah,
but our most balanced midfield, yeah, I remember there was a period where we had Pogba, Matic, and I think it was Bruno as well. No, Matic was here.
We had that midfield 3. And then
we had that midfield... you're right.
We had that midfield 3.
Yeah, but the thing is, I agree with you, but then... You're talking about the second season, innit? I'm pretty sure. His first full season. Was it his first full season, or it might have been